Belgium, December, one of the coolest storage facilities you'll ever see. It's like a warren of beautiful stuff, but wait until you see what's here and will soon be for sale at an auction in Paris. It's mind-bending. Follow me. Come on. Up here. This is no fancy modern shed. This has got angles, corners, nooks, crannies, and some stuff that's made me go, wow. Okay? Come in, come in, come in. Look at this. Look at this. Have you seen a better shed than that? I've not seen a better shed than this. We're going to trip over lots of things, talk about many different vehicles, but first of all, let me show you some Porsche 928s. I mean, where'd you look? Espadas, 365s, Islero, Maserati, Gordini. But because I have a problem with the Porsche 928, we're going to start with this. What's the collective noun for 928s? Let's call them a gaggle. But I love a 928. And this collection has two of the very best, most significant I've ever seen. Let's start with the red car. Come on, the red car. So this is a Porsche 928 Club Sport. I've never seen one before. It might not sit up there with all the lightweight 2.7s and all the special stuff that people get very excited about at auction, but for me, yeah, I'm having a bit of a moment today. I've not seen one. I now know how beautiful they are in the flesh. I've seen the sticker for the first time. In 1989, I think it was, I was reading an issue of Car magazine, probably stuck in my bedroom at school, and this car captivated me. It was a twin test between this and a Corvette ZR1. And I just love the fact this car had one wing mirror. This has got two, but it captivated me. And finally seen one. It's one of the rarest Porsches. I hope I've got my numbers right. 27 were built. Of those 27, 4 were sort of internal prototypes that were all painted Guards Red with a black interior, which makes me wonder whether this might be one of those cars. This is Guards Red with a black interior with the big sports seats. So maybe this is one of those. 4 others were given to factory Porsche drivers. So take those off the table, more of that in a minute by the way, take those off the table, you're left with 19 cars, of which apparently 4 were for internal press purposes or to be just slagged about in by Porsche brass because they could. So really there were 15 production cars. This might be one of them, I don't know. Either way, I mean you're in tiny numbers. Think how many cars represents a special Porsche now. It's 500 to 1,000, isn't it? 15? It's rocking horse poo. Anyhow, we ought to look at the other ones here. We might come back to that in a minute. So, a GTS, a 928 GTS in a beautiful dark green with the correct interior. Recognise this? Standard S4. Other side of it, a GT. Over there, a sort of bronze with a light beige interior 4.7S, known as an S2 in the UK. Where do you begin? I've never seen such a good collection of 928s in my life. It's ridiculous. The white car, we'll come back to the white car in a minute. Let's move on, look at some moderns, then we'll come back to 928s. This is undoubtedly the best collection of Porsches I've seen under one roof. 991 GT2 RS, Ultimate Widowmaker. You can't see it from here, but look at this cutaway now. It's in a very dark green. It might be Brewster, it might be Irish, I'm not sure. Incredibly desirable car in that colour. The original 991 RS, everyone loves these things, fantastic motor car. Now we're on to royalty. 3.8 RS. I think this is the sleeper at the moment of the range because really it's 9.9 tenths of the car that's over there, the 4 litre RS. I remember these so fondly. I raced them at the Nürburgring. What a car. Also, that's the spec that I like, the white with what they call, this was called white gold, this finish, white gold. I still sit and talk crap with Poininger about these because they were just such special cars. Manual gearbox, Metzger engine. As I said, for me, that is the value proposition at the moment. So, 996 GT3 RS with blue stickers. What do we know about the blue stickers? They're faster than the red stickers. It's known that the blue sticker car is faster than the red sticker car because blue's faster than red, and it's rarer. Again, whoever put these together had an eye, because that's the rare one. What was the homologation point of this car? Nerds? It was not the engine. They said there was a part on the engine. I'm not sure I believe them. It was a split lower rear arm that gave more camber adjustment. That was the homologation point for this car for racing. I know, what a useless trove of knowledge I am. And this is the one everyone wants, isn't it? The 4.0, the 4-litre RS. It's the pinnacle of this era of car. I have nothing bad to say about them. They are amazing motor vehicles. I mean, if you could, you would. By the way, what I'm tripping over here is the totally insignificant 965 2-litre 911. I mean, this is where it all began. And it's so nice to see one that's not been converted into a racing car, because normally they have been. This is a beautiful red with houndstooth road car. Just imagine having that on a Sunday morning, just a beautiful sunny day, go out, have breakfast, put the dog in the back. Beautiful. Do you want to see that one now? 2.7 RS lightweight, but this is a real lightweight, so you'd find out from the build it was early. It's got the lightweight glass, has a sticker on there. Most importantly, this has got some period race history, so this did the Talga Florio. That's the coolest race, isn't it? Now, you're going to see over my shoulder and have a look inside here, but most importantly, there's a noise check needed. Ready? That's the best percussion sound you'll ever hear. I'm going to do it again. That's not a Leichbau, that sounds like it was made out of a swan's wing or something. It's so lightweight, you just feel that there's nothing here. Beautiful and rare. Speaking of rare, I've got to go back to that 928. Sorry, come back to this 928, come on. I'm back again, I can't leave it alone, sorry, I'm addicted. I brushed over the fact that 4 of these cars were prototypes. They were given to Porsche's factory racing drivers in 1987. Bob Wallach, Hans Stuck, Jochen Mass and, wait for it, Derek Bell. You might see a white car behind me. Those of you that know, that's one of those prototype cars. It's the most famous one of the lot. Derek owned it and drove it for 18 years. It's part of this sale. That is, for me, absolute Porsche royalty. And I've never seen, well, I hadn't seen one before today. I've seen 2 now, so that's the prototype, the Derek Bell prototype. Get the old juddering stopping, because that's really where I'm at in life, one of those. And this here is an actual club sport, 2 together. So up close, this is it. Has original number plates. It needs no introduction. 18 years driven by Derek Bell, and it's one of the coolest looking Porsches ever made. Bit lower, it's got that track width that's added at the rear with a bit of the dish in the wheel that you then saw on the 928 GT. I mean, if value is based on rarity, it's the best value Porsche in the world, isn't it? Let's see what it goes for. I would absolutely love to own that car. Need to work harder. It's weird, isn't it? I'm in a room full of 911 royalty, but at the moment, I'm getting the knee trembles from these front-engine GT cars. I just love a 928. Anyhow, I've got to focus and go and look at some other 911s, but for now, 996 GT2 Series 1, 463 horsepower, the old nerd brain's still working. Original Widowmaker, amazing car. Have a look round here. 964 Speedster, there's a 993 RS up there in silver, casually. 996 with the chrome wheels, absolutely immaculate. You all know what that is. 997 Sport Classic. Have a look at this. 993 Turbo. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. So we've got both 911 turbos of the original G Series. You've got a 3 litre and there's a 3.3 as well. Series 1, 4.5 litre manual 928. One of the great shapes. What was special about the 928 in this particular format? You're correct. It was the only sports car to ever win Car of the Year. And just nestled in this little corner here, I don't know if this is midnight or if it's dark sea blue, whatever it is. It's a 3.2 Carrera cab, I think it's the prettiest one I've ever seen. It just is perfect proportionally. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh, and a little Mickey, a 2CV. Look at that. I know it's not a Porsche, but it's air-cooled, isn't it? And it's got a horizontally opposed firing engine. If you know me, you know that I love a 2CV. That is, eat your dinner off it. But we have to stay on Stuttgart for the moment. What's up there? I just look at the things. Oh no, that's a Jensen Interceptor. We're tripping over lots of metal at the moment. And if you were thinking, where's the 996 GT3 Gen 1 and the 997 GT2 RS? Well, of course, they're here, just in a slightly different part of the shed. Guards red, white with carbon, front cage on that one. Oh, and if you were wondering, where's the 991 GT2 RS Club Sport? Of course, there's one of those too. It's not just Porsche either. The individual that's put these together, this collection of cars, really gets the quirky, less obvious stuff, which is why I find it utterly magnetic. So, a Ferrari 412 or 412, what did you call it when you had the top trumps 412? I called it a 412. Think about this one, well, two things. One, manual gearbox, everyone wants the manual gearbox. Two, factory cloth upholstery. I've never ever seen one that's in that lovely silver with a cloth interior. Well, I've never seen a cloth interior. Got a few marks on it, but so what, it's gorgeous. 365 GT 2+2, I mean, in terms of design, can you believe they went straight from that to that in the space of a couple of years? That looks like an old car to me. That still looks like a modern car to me. 250 GTE, again, not the obvious 250, still looks fantastic in here. I have to walk past that to get to, I mean, who doesn't love an Espada? You'll know more than me about these probably. I think this is Series 2, absolutely stunning. And also, the interior's been left alone, so it's a standard patinated interior. We can't find any evidence of a radio or any speakers, so we think it might be the music of the V12. Again, lovely. Rear window openings are manual and hinge from the top and come out like that. I think the design team that defined the Espada were all on mushrooms, weren't they, or some kind of chemical, because it even now looks like one of the most outrageous cars ever designed. Love it. Baby Espada, Islero. I mean, that's an absolute beauty. Again, not really been on my radar, but do you look at this thing in this light? It's stunning, absolutely stunning. And doesn't look dissimilar to those two, does it? So we've got Ghibli and we've got Indy. Now, two Maseratis. This looks a bit Maserati to me, that Lamborghini there. They could come from the same family. This looks like it's landed from another planet, obviously. All of this stuff stunning. And then, it's like seeing inside your own head, this. If I had these resources, these are all the cars I would have bought. 365, I mean, look at it. Absolutely stunning. What is that? Is that TDF? It's got a bit of a flake. Yeah, it's TDF, I think, blue. And the interior, we'll cut to it now, has got these wild sort of orangey, bluey cloth inserts there. These are, well, you know this. These are great cars to drive. Just a Daytona with extra 2 seats and power steering. What's not to love? Now, old Italian corner, sort of less exotic stuff, but you know, step nose. GTV, wasn't that a pretty car to start with? And when they started adding all the extra sort of impact bumpery black bits, they weren't as pretty, but that is stunning. Also, you might have spotted a quirk of mine here, cloth seats. I love a cloth seat. Follow me through here. Now, some stunning saloon cars. We don't call them by their proper names. They are, of course, the police cars from the Italian job, and they are stunning. What I love about these, and what I didn't understand, is that I always thought that the German car industry was the leader. But of course, after the Second World War, that wasn't the case. BMW, Mercedes and that lot were quite primitive. This is a car that in the 60s had a 5-speed gearbox, fully independent rear suspension and disc brakes. Delicious. There it is then, the 400 GT. This is what happens if you make tractors and you have your Ferrari serviced by the big man and you're not happy with what happens and you decide to get into a bit of a spat and you make your own car to give him the It looks like a spaceship to me. It looks, in pictures, it looks very Italian, but when I see it here, it reminds me of one of those 60s American concept cars that you used to see at motor shows when they go completely wild. There's a slight spaceship, pod racery look to the shape that to me it's a beautiful car, really beautiful. Good Lord, I've not seen a group like this. I've not seen a group of cars like this. It's so wonderfully harebrained. It's like looking inside my own mind. If I had the resources, these are the cars I'd buy. There's even a 2CV. Ah, the old rear-engined 4-seat saloon car. I mean, you can say, what were they thinking? The handling's interesting, but totally iconic and very good in slushy Monte Carlo conditions. Beautiful. And now, the debate rages, should you have a speedster or a roadster? I'm a roadster man, that's just gorgeous. And then a convertible 356 there as well. God, all of this stuff is just stunning. I don't really know where to look. I've not been in the presence of such a group of cars. Well, I did that previous video, which you might remember, back in, whenever it was, 4 or 5 years ago in Switzerland. But this is a different bunch. Those are all 90s cars. They have a different flavour. One more thing I want to show you though. The Bentley Continental GT, but done different for dogs. Here you go then. I love these things. So Touring Superleggera have taken a Bentley Continental. You think it's a GT, it wasn't. It was a GTC, it was the convertible, and they've built an entire shooting brake, or as they would call it in France, a brake. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Elegant, low. For me, a shooting brake should always have a sloping roofline. That means that even if you're as short as me, you can see on top of the back of the car. This fits all of those criteria. How do you come across these things? How do you accumulate these things? Everything from a 2.7 RS lightweight original light glass with Targa Florio history to a Series 2 Espada to a 412 with cloth interior to a GTC that's been turned into a shooting brake. Not the only quirky British brake either. This is an Aston DB6 shooting brake. I've not seen one of these in the flesh. Seen the pictures in the magazines, obviously. One thing about it, it's huge. It's got loads of room in it. It's a genuine 4-seater. That's not a 2+2 with an enormous boot. I mean, you get yourself a large Doberman stretched out back there. Let's do the old, how long is it check? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-metre car, that. Wow. Quite imposing as well. Obviously, a few other Aston Martins. DB2. DB24 Mark III. And this. Now, this is beautiful. DB4. You could eat all of your meals off this. Cut away now to a look at the engine bay, which is a work of art. Absolutely beautiful car, this. A smaller car as well. Very pretty. You wouldn't leave here without driving one, would you? So, this is the one. 993 turbo, yellow. You might know that I like a yellow 911. The 993 for me bridges the old and the new. It's a great shape. Of course, this has done very few kilometres and it's in absolutely mint condition, but somebody's got to do it, sorry. So, 993 turbo time. This was one of the great cars, wasn't it? Remember the performance back in the day? Over 400 horsepower, 4-wheel drive in a compact package. We all just thought, well, it's a 959 in all but name. And I love it in yellow. I know I'm biased. This feels so small and so right. Why would you buy a new 911 when you can have one of these? 70,000 kilometres, the best colour, black leather, big wing seats. Oh, what a thing. Steering's gorgeous, driving position bang on as ever. Those dials, not beatable for me. Best looking rev counter of all time. Oh yes. Cornfield always looks like you're in a horror film. It's the most complete collection of 911s I've ever seen. It's everything of the modern era. My mind is completely blown by the quality on display here. But you might have noticed I've got a bit of a favourite. Degarde's red. 928 Club Sport. This and all these other amazing vehicles are for sale at the RM Sotheby's event in Paris on the 4th and the 5th of February. Get bidding.